Boom, 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 boom. All right, welcome in to the Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the radio. Skimming it. Welcome into Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. We do this show every Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's the second of two streams that I do each and every day. I didn't do it today. Nope, didn't do it. Had plans. That's called High Noon. That comes on at noon, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And once again, that is Monday through Friday. All right, without further ado, let's bring in James Parker. There he is. Look at him. He's throwing up. He's letting us know what he rides. What you ride? What you riding?
I was simply chunking a deuce. Chunking a deuce.
Let me see that.
It's just two fingers, chunking a deuce. Sometimes you leave your thumb out, but it's chunking a deuce.
All right.
In the parlance of the great Paul Wall, philosopher of Houston Town.
That means a different thing where I'm from. That means you're folks, and that means you're in the right neighborhood. Folks and peoples. It's American. You're rural. It's Americana gang lingo. You're either in Folks Nation or People's Nation. That's all. And that's coast to coast. That's New York, Los Angeles, Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
You were throwing
folks versus people.
You were throwing up folks. Yeah.
What's people?
I don't know. I'm from a folks name. I'm from the South Side. I don't. No. Yeah. Wait. No. So two is. Hey, we got any gangbangers from the South Side of Chicago that grew up in the 80s and 90s?
Well, Jeffrey's from Iowa. That's close.
That's close. Sure. Same thing.
Very gangster.
But that's the question. If you were a youngster at the mall, 15, 16 years old, hanging out with your friends, and some stranger just sidles up to you and says, what you ride. There's only one answer. Neutral. That's you say the wrong one, and you're gonna get beat up with pipes or something. I don't know. Just ain't good. You get followed. It's creepy. Of course, I didn't spend much time at those malls. That would be like something that might happen to you at Ford City or Evergreen. I was an Orland Square guy. No, I don't mean
none of this means anything.
I don't mean to scoreboard you right now, but yeah, I was an Orland Square kid. I didn't spend much time at.
Guess you showed me.
Yeah, I sure did. All right, how was your day? What's happening?
My day was fantastic. Oh my goodness, I had a great day.
Well, tell me what you did, Mr. Sunburn, Mr.
Did we not? We had a show. Oh yeah, we did have a show last night. But it was like, did we not talk about my weekend? I had a great weekend. Remember, we went down to my wife's cousin's house, and they're not losers, so they actually have a big house with a pool and everything.
Yeah. Well,
so it's nice. Let the kids swim all day because they have 3 kids and we have 4. So 7 kids were swimming all day, and then they got all tired, went to sleep by about 9:30. And then it was time for the adult swim. And so then you just pour like a bunch of liquor drinks, and you're in a heated pool. There's like a little fountain. A little bit, yeah. I mean, just switch places when he rings the bell, and no questions asked.
Yeah.
No eye contact.
Are you too uptight for that, or is that something if your wife was down for you'd be into?
Well, it's not really up for the wife. It depends on who the other chick is. So if I'm wife swapping with like Scarlett Johansson and whoever she's married to, yes, I am down with that.
She's married to Colin Jost. You're okay with that?
Oh, that makes it even better. Of course.
Yeah, let her enjoy herself, because I will be. You'll enjoy yourself with Scarlett.
Right.
So what you're telling me is that you are open to that kind of wife swapping kind of thing. I mean, because nobody's just going to do it with people they're not attracted to. It's going to be mutually attracted people who.
Right, but I'm not a cuck that wants to see my wife with other dudes. It's just something I'm willing to put up with so I can sleep with Scarlett Johansson or Christina Hendricks or someone that's just incredible. Okay. Right, and so it's never going to happen.
I don't get the whole cuck thing, because I don't particularly have any interest in that, but I mean, I can see and completely understand why a guy wouldn't be bothered by seeing his wife with another dude. As a matter of fact, I kind of go the other direction, that it's kind of ridiculous for you to be upset at the thought of your wife with another dude. That's a very sort of primate-like response to, the whole modern. But I'm a modern guy. I believe in.
Does that make it bad?
Yeah, it does. It means
No,
you see her
disagree.
as something that is yours, and that if she is
No,
seeking
it
pleasure,
means I don't want to.
you're
I don't want to raise a cuckoo's egg. There's a
what do you mean raise
legit
cuckoo?
evolutionary response to that.
What? Okay, so explain it to me in real time. Come on, give me the. So you would not. You have a problem. All right. So this again goes back to my whole idea that I believe that people should be sexually open, that they should be comfortable, and if they are looking for something that will satisfy them outside of what the traditional bounds of marriage are, I say, you know what makes you happy, baby, go ahead. Just don't,
Right, but
don't, right. So
there's like a legitimate biological
which is
evolutionary reason why every society on the planet has come to the similar conclusion that you don't want your wife sleeping around, because before the days of Maury Povich, if your wife got pregnant with another dude, then you would be spending your scarce time and resources raising someone else's kid. That is not good for propagation of
yeah, no,
your
okay,
genetic material.
so that doesn't explain today. It's 2022. We're not talking about something that happened in rural Alabama back in 1910. Okay, we're
Well,
talking.
I know, and look,
Your
it's
description of ancient civilizations or just societies going back is completely wrong. Wife swapping and philandering has been around and accepted, especially in higher echelon society, since the dawn of time. So, I mean, you're just talking.
right. But viscerally speaking, it is quite common for most people to not be down with that, or at least a significant fraction of
Yeah, I don't
every
understand what
society
you're
to not
saying.
be cool with that.
I don't understand. I'm asking you why you would not be down with it, and you kind of gave me a bunch of mumbo jumbo
No,
about.
no, it's the same reason I'm into boobs. Like, because there's an evolutionary response that the women who match that preference have a better likelihood of passing along my genetic profile, propagation of my genes.
But if your wife's sexual fulfillment was dependent upon her getting a little strange, you would have a problem with that. You would put your ego and your, I don't know, insecurities above her sexual fulfillment.
No, I would try and leverage it for me to get some new chicks too. I
Okay,
wouldn't.
well, all
Right.
right. Now we're making progress. See, I just don't
It's
want to.
not that I haven't thought this
Wow.
through.
It's a very programmed response to say, "Oh, the idea of my wife with another man is just
It
I can't
is bad, and it makes
program."
logical sense.
No,
It
I
makes
don't believe
logical
it
sense.
does. Don't believe it. What is the
Well,
logic?
because guys who put up with that were more likely to spend their very scarce. Remember, this is a time of famine. Where sometimes you had to decide which kids are going to live and which kids are going to die. Or
2022?
no, not now. I'm
Yeah,
talking
but we're
about the
talking
millions of
about
years
now.
of evolution that have created these pathways in my brain that I don't control.
You are skirting the contemporary conversation based on mumbo jumbo about things that happened 100 years ago.
I
How
know,
does
but
that
it's the
make
same reason I don't like flat chicks. I can't help it. I know it's 2022, but through a million years of human evolution, we've all been programmed to see those as better partners for purposes
There you go.
of,
Yeah, you
yeah,
said the word, and I'm a great believer in resisting the programming, evolving, becoming what we're supposed to be, which is more open, loving, considerate individuals.
cucks.
Yeah. No, see, this is what I don't. Yeah, fine, okay. If that's the word. That word doesn't bother me. I think it's a fun word. It rhymes with the F word, so it can't be all bad. That's the greatest word in the English language. The F.
It's why you're a big fan of ducks as well. Yeah.
Dogs, and why
One
I
of your
like
favorite birds. Yeah.
why conversationally with you, I like to get mired in the muck. It's all the same thing. It's just a fun word that
And see, Jeffrey, that has been scientifically disproven as well. Anything more than a handful's of waste. No, that's absolutely scientifically provably false.
Okay, I'm gonna need to see the data on that. What do you mean?
I'll float you some
All
JPEGs
right.
after the show.
All
Yeah.
right. No, look, hey, I like a large-breasted woman. I do not like a flat chest. I do not like. Here are a couple of things that I do not like. I do not like the I am so glad that, well, at least the last time I experienced this. I'm so glad that we seem to have moved out of the shaved area for women. I thought that was absolutely repulsive. A flat chest and a shave down there. Come on. I like a woman. I like a curvy woman who looks like a grown up, who's got hips, who's got breasts, who's got a fully post-pubescent appeal about her. So I'm glad we seem to have moved. Although I don't know, I shouldn't ask you this, but in your recent experience, have you encountered? Is that still a thing in your sexual adventures, the shaved, or is it now we back into a more modern? And it's just your mother, your children, dude. You can tell me to shut up on this one. I completely respect that answer. You're thinking about it.
That's just weird, man. Yes, because I don't have any adventures. So you're asking about my wife and whether or not
I
she
know.
shaves
That's why I
her
realized that
beaver.
once I started asking you. Anyway, it does
Fine.
appear to me as a single guy who has but not recently, not since moving back here. But I've seen naked women, so I guess that's the thing. Yes. So my observation is that we have moved past that. What do you call it?
Trend?
Yeah, and it was a trend. I hated it. It was when I was in my best slaying days. That was like the trend, and I was like, yeah, you have to grow that out if we're gonna be together. I do not like to think of you as anything less than a fully grown woman.
I kind of like it.
You do? You do? You like it's cleaner down there for you? It's more of a.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make you think. It doesn't seem unnatural to you. I mean, look, no, I'm not talking. Look, I come from the '80s, dude, the landing strip era. That's a very well-groomed kind of
You want to do a monologue? How about we do a monologue? Hey guys, what do you say?
Why
Why don't you get the band to
so
play the old?
uptight? When did you get so uptight about talking about modern sexuality? That's the only thing we're talking about here. We're not being vulgar. We're having an open conversation about sexual proclivities of the modern man.
Yeah, well, I would also like for the fantasy that someone is watching this, trying to figure out if they're going to put it on their network or on their radio station or whatever. We put our best foot forward and not start with the "do you shave your beaver" conversation.
Well, I never said it. I think I used all the anatomically correct words and then didn't use certain words at all. You're the one who just created the edit in whatever we you want to put this on, whatever tape you want to put this on.
Yeah, I'm way out of bounds. Sorry about that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The only offensive thing I've heard is that you referring to the female pubis as a woodland creature.
Did you
All
say
right,
pubis?
That's what I say. I'm
pubis.
being a grown up about this, and I am talking about very legitimate adult topics.
The mons pubis.
Are we talking about sexuality? Yes, of course we are. But is sexuality dirty? I don't believe so. I believe that it's a very real part of humanity. And that's what I'm about, James. Humanity. Here's what James is about. James is about doing a monologue every night. Welcome here into the Comfort Nest Lounge high atop the One Percenter compound. Every night we welcome James to the stage. He's got his take on hot topics, current events. Oh, he's a funny guy. He's a modern day Mort Saul. That's what he is. He's James Rodriguez Parker.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you, ladies, gentlemen. Thank you. All right. According to Fox News, President Biden is showing signs of cognitive decline. In a related story, the official presidential anthem's been changed from "Hail to the Chief" to the Benny Hill theme.
Hold on.
You can do it. That's fine. That's...
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a pity laugh. Thank you. Thank you.
Direction.
All right. The far-right website InfoWars has been forced to declare bankruptcy. Did you hear this legal filing, Pugs? Owner Alex Jones is blaming a conspiracy.
Hold on. You didn't have the... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm lost. All right, go ahead. Continue.
I like just hitting both sides of the spectrum in the first two jokes. The Boston Marathon was yesterday. I couldn't make it out there, so instead I ran to the store for a 12-pack. It was it's good exercise.
Too soon.
I did make a pressure cooker joke. According to a new report, 40% of New York City public school students are chronically absent, and teachers are now trying to calculate what percentage are not chronically absent. Because they're bad teachers.
That's a current state of the educational system joke right there.
According to the National Enquirer, J. Edgar Hoover led the plot to kill President Kennedy. Now, the FBI is denying it, but who are we really supposed to believe here? The FBI or the National Enquirer? According to the Globe magazine, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are on their way to a divorce, and that's too bad. They really seem like a normal, healthy couple. Oh, everyone likes that one. Hey, successful people failing. In England, a 70-year-old woman was arrested for driving drunk through a cemetery. Pugs prosecutors say it's a grave offense.
I get it.
In California, a 30-year-old female teacher was arrested for texting nude selfies to an underage male student. And that's sad, man, because I remember, teachers used to abuse the students. Now they just phone it in. They're just lazy. It's the unions, Pugs. They're ruining it. April, still Alcohol Awareness Month. According to a new study, the average American binge drinker consumes 470 drinks per year. And that means it's only April, and I've already reached my quota. So we're in trouble. Today is Independence Declaration Day in Venezuela, and they celebrate kind of like we do here, Pugs. There, a lot of Venezuelans are going to be barbecuing, except it's their pets. So that's kind of. And finally, damn it, happy birthday to actress Ashley Judd, who is 54 years old. And I'm not saying she's getting old, but she has a new movie sequel coming out called Olympus Has Fallen and Can't Get Up.
All right. See, I was trying to predict that one. I actually laid back on that because I thought maybe you had a couple more. Like, usually sometimes you have like when it's old jokes.
Can you name multiple Ashley Judd movies?
No.
Yeah, not really. There's like Kiss the Girls, but what would that be?
Which one did you say?
Oh, Olympus Has Fallen. So I said Olympus Has Fallen and Can't Get Up.
Like you even went to a recent one. She was like a big star 20 years ago, and those movies haven't retained any presence.
None. Like you've heard of some of them. I never saw Double Jeopardy, Bob. So I don't know.
Hold on. No, I gotta see. Because if there's movies that there's got to be movies that were good, right? That we're just forgetting.
Oh, there's some that you would recognize. Absolutely. But the whole thing about the abuse stories where like supposedly she did it with her dad or something like that, that just throws me off.
Yeah, I don't know about that stuff. I don't know. Heat. Oh, come on, man. Heat. I would have never remembered that she was in Heat, but Heat
I would have never remembered.
Tremendous movie. Yeah, she was the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Time to Kill. Again, she was the
girlfriend. Now that you mention it, I remember she was with Matthew McConaughey in that, but I wouldn't have known it just yesterday randomly.
Yeah, man. There's Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. I ain't see that.
I sure as hell hadn't seen that.
Nothing, man. Nothing. She seriously has not done anything that is memorable. I'm going to run down some of these. You tell me if you've heard of these, okay? The Locusts, Normal Life, Eye of the Beholder, Where the Heart Is, Someone Like You, High Crimes, The Lovely, Twisted, Come Early Morning, Helen. She has got a terribly unmemorable career. Her filmography sucks. Heat is all right.
She's kind of pretty, though.
Oh, my God. She was in 1996. Let me see. Let me put the year where I would think that she was probably at her peak. As far as being attractive, she's still an attractive woman, but 96, yeah, Time to Kill. Yeah, when they're pairing her up with a young Matthew McConaughey, that's probably the peak Ashley Judd moment. And then she didn't do anything. Can she not act? Like, what's her problem? What you know what I mean? Like she seemed like she was going to be a big movie star. And now I'm looking at her filmography and it's like all.
She must be a big butthead to work with.
Yeah. Well, supposedly she is. Have you ever seen an interview with her?
Yeah, but I've seen them like intentionally contentious interviews where she goes crazy.
Yeah, she's incredibly irritating.
But she came out with some book where she talked about how she slept with her dad, and then people kept asking her about it, and she's like, "Why do you keep asking me about that?" It's because you slept with your dad,
and because you wrote about it in a book that you put out in the public. So it's kind of in the public sphere.
It's
And
kind of a thing.
we should be allowed to ask you about it since you charged people to hear about it. So here we are, Ashley.
Yeah. You're the one who brought it up, and no one else has really done that. So
I don't.
that's weird.
Her dad or stepdad?
Oh, I don't know the details. Do you think I looked into that?
I think that's.
I tried, dude. I couldn't finish the Jimmy Savile documentary on Netflix. I tried. Me and the wife gave it 2 chances, and we were like, "We're done with this. This is just too nasty."
You didn't miss anything. It wasn't nearly as good as the other stuff. There's far more interesting, far more detail. Well, your problem was probably with the details. That's I'm guessing this one. And I'm telling you, this one did not have enough details in it. It wasn't anywhere near as good or interesting, I should say, because nothing about the Jimmy Savile story is good. But it was not that great. The trailer seemed pretty good, but everything else was kind of eh. All right, James, how are you? What's going on in your world today? What do you got going on?
Oh, you know what? I meant to send this to you. Let me email you an audio clip here because I can't decide on whether this is like cool or call the cops.
Okay.
Because I'm a guy that respects the hustle, and even if you can't, get it right or get it perfect, I don't make the perfect the enemy of the good. And if it works out, then hey, who am I to judge? And you're a pretty open-minded guy too. So whenever I find one of these stories where I'm not sure where the boundary is, I found it absolutely interesting because I'm usually on the other side of the boundary. So if I don't know, I need to run it by normal people to make sure I'm not the psycho. So I
guess I'm normal.
Well, I mean, you could be. It's just a second. It's I'm like a recessive gene, and I'm just testing it against the dominant gene here.
Is it just audio?
Yeah, it's just audio. So this is the Jesse Waters guy from Fox News, and they're telling stories, and he just volunteers this story. And have you heard this yet?
No.
Okay, so
I just have to erase all preconceived notions that I have about Bill O'Reilly's old piss boy. But go ahead. You just tell me. Set it up, and then I'll listen to it cold, and I'll give you a rant.
So they were talking about people doing inappropriate stuff in order to get the attention of other people, and he just volunteered this. It was like one of these group discussions where they have 4 people around the table, and you know where this come from because people are always trying to insert their little witty anecdote or something that's more sensational than the last person or something that make people go, oh, and get a bunch of attention. And so he threw this out, but I think this is an absolutely true story. And I want you to hear it actually before I give you the rest of the context because it'll change your initial reaction.
Okay. So this is me. I'll give it a first listen.
When I was trying to get Emma to date me, first thing I did, let the air out of her tires. She couldn't go anywhere. She needed a lift. I said, hey, you need a lift? She hopped right in the car. Does she know this story? No, she doesn't know this story.
Does she watch the show?
The Jesse
Jr. does.
You're basically the Zodiac Killer. It has a happy ending.
Really?
Yes, we're married.
Boy.
Did you really do that?
Is that the first time you did it, or did you use that before?
It works like a charm.
Oh, okay. Kathy Lee Gifford joins us now.
When I was
Okay.
Did you catch all that?
I did. Yeah. I got it all.
So he's married to the girl now.
Yeah, I caught that. So just let me give you, before you give me the rest of the contact, I'll tell you exactly what I hear. Okay. So the fact that they are married makes it perfectly fine. It's totally okay. It's okay. Is it a move that I think look, it's a rom-com move. That's a move straight out of a 1980s, 1990s rom-com. How do you meet the girl? You create the situation where you become the knight on the horse, right? So, I think I understand why there's going to be a lot of people going, those people, the chorus that just do nothing but complain about nonsense. But I think that's fine. I think it's a cute story about how they met.
Okay, can I add some further details that I learned after hearing their initial story? By the way, April, we're talking about Jesse Waters. And hey, kudos to you for not just coming down on him with a sledgehammer just because he's Jesse Waters.
Why? It's a rom-com movie. It's a movie that, look, by this.
Okay, hang on. Okay. Stop digging. First thing you need to know is at the time, Jesse Waters is married, and he and his wife at the time had 2 twin daughters.
Okay, so it's getting a little bit more shittier. Okay.
Okay. Also, at the time, Jesse Waters was 14 years older than her. She is an intern just fresh out of her final year of college, and he's in his late 30s.
All right. So the level of inappropriateness is absolutely building.
And the other fact that I think makes this kind of important is that she actually worked on his staff. So he was her boss.
That's a no. That is a power shift. That is what they call someone in a position of power. I mean, it wasn't equal footing. It wasn't just a girl that he would met at the bar and was talking to.
But they did get married.
They did get married.
He didn't just use her up and throw her away. You know, she wasn't just the other woman and he strung her along. I know.
Everything that leads up. Look, the story in and of itself, where how did you meet your wife? Well, let the air out of her tires so that you would be forced to talk. That is a rom-com. I know that by today's standards, just that on its own sounds like, well, that's a predatory behavior. Yeah, well, you know what? That's
some call predatory, some call game. Is that what you're saying? Is
right.
that your?
Let's talk about that the move that John Cusack laid down and Say Anything, where he camped out in the front lawn in the rain
with the boombox.
Yeah. That dude gets shot 9 out of 10 times by a father. And today the police come and put him in handcuffs, and he gets a restraining order against that girl. So when I say that's a rom-com move, obviously. What it was acceptable in rom-coms between 1985 and 2010 is no longer acceptable. I think it's look, when I first heard it, it sounded cute. It sounded like, hey, isn't that wonderful how two people met, right? That's kind of ballsy. He put it out there, but they're happy and they're married. Now you tell me he was cheating on his wife with his intern. See, that's fucked up. I'm sorry, excuse me. That's that's where it goes a little bit off the skids.
So now you see why I gave you the audio before the context.
Yes, because you allowed me to see it as, who was that woman who died who wrote all the rom-coms? She's like
Daniel Steele.
No, that's she wrote Sleepless in Nora Ephron. That's straight out of a Nora Ephron story. Until you find out about all the creeper stuff that preceded it.
Yeah, see, what I think what this highlights with the big, fat, bright yellow highlighter is that the difference between rom-com, cutesy, and Call the Police is whether or not she's attracted to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Jesse Waters grossed her out that first day, she'd have been like, what the hell? Did you do this? I'm going to HR and I'm calling the cops, you creeper. And he would have been nothing but a creeper. There would have been no gray area.
Yeah.
It's like the old Chris Rock bit where if Clarence Thomas had looked like Denzel Washington, we wouldn't have had those hearings.
Yeah, but he's also in a position, and he's got a bit of a freedom, a long leash on this. Jesse Waters can essentially say anything he wants because there is a segment of the population that already thinks he's a monster. You know what I mean? Like he can't get in any trouble for this. This isn't something that's going to blow back on him. It's going to send all of the lefty lunatics into a tither on the social media. If it even, I even heard this, so it's not even going around. You just introduced it to me. Did it happen today?
I think he might have said it over the weekend. I just saw it being passed around yesterday, and so I did it on my show earlier today.
Like he's indemnified from any cancel culture or anything, just because of the way he carries himself consistently. He's already someone that people who would be offended and would freak out by. I mean, where do they start with him? So, I mean, he's comfortable, and that's a freedom that he has to be able to tell these stories. But yeah, full context, man, it's pretty creepy.
Yeah, that's a weird one. And the weird thing is one of the first lessons, like it wasn't just like you said something and Kelly said something. And when I first got that job on your show in Dallas, there were cute girls that worked on other shows. There were cute girls that worked in the promotions department, cute girls that worked in the sales department. And you were like, you are not to touch or talk to any of them. Because if any of that has any negative blowback on the show or any negative blowback on my money or anyone else's money, that's your job, which means that's your career.
Did we live in a foresight? I mean,
we did. You said, and in fact, the paraphrase was something to the effect of
creeps, though. I mean, Eric was pretty wild, but he wasn't a creep. He
not within the building.
Yeah.
Not in. So the both you and Kelly were like, listen, this is a metropolitan area of 5 million people. You can find other girls
There's
to
gonna
mess
be
with.
girls in bar appearances.
That there's
Go ahead.
plenty of other girls that you can do whatever, that your little heart desires to attempt to do. Just keep it out of this building, because any blowback on losing one account or having some HR phone call or email, and that's it. It's over.
And think about those times as compared to these times. I mean, those times were like nothing. Things would get skated by easily back then. I mean, now it's completely different. Like now,
Well, it was, you're right. And it used to be like back then when you said it, it was like, maybe if you were a host or something, you could get away with it if you had great ratings, but you're Parker, like they'll toss you aside for light and transient causes.
We had a bunch of I mean, here in Dallas and in Chicago, and when I was working with or producing for Kevin Matthews at the Loop, I mean, we had, especially at the Loop, I mean, every single one of our female interns were smoking. I mean, they were like, that was part of the appeal. That, like, we had hot girls, and there was never any funny, like, you could, like, it's natural to be attracted to somebody. Well, let's take Dallas specifically. Okay. Like, we had a lot of cute girls on that show, but I'd never thought that, hey, I should try and date Sybil, or, hey, I should try and, I mean, that was never, it wasn't, you know what I mean? And it's not,
life's tough enough without adding that layer complication.
It wasn't even about that. It was about, I mean, it should have been about that. And in today's world, it would certainly be about that. But back then it was more about, I don't know, I saw us all as like brothers and sisters, Yeah, Ed points out I dated her sister. Yeah, I was very attracted to her sister. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She set me up with her sister. She set that up. And that worked. I was very attracted to her sister, and we dated for a year. It was never a vibe that I thought was, not that it was appropriate or inappropriate. It just wasn't the way I thought about them. Like, I don't know, kind of.
Like, I hooked up with one girl in promotions at that first job.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Janae?
No.
Remember Janae? Okay.
I do remember that name. Yeah. Okay. All right. Continue.
Yeah, she was totally cool. But other than that, I have not broken that rule in the radio world. Other than that.
Well, you can't. You're married. You've got kids.
Well, I wasn't married the whole time.
No, I know, but now
married for half of it. Yeah. Oh, now. Oh, well, yeah.
Now it's different times. Now you have to be concerned of awareness, and I don't mean your own awareness. I mean the awareness of the quote unquote victim of whatever advances might be coming their way. They are way more clued into the power that they have. If you know what I mean, if some lech or some creepy dude, it's best to just never alone in the same room. Always have at least another, especially if you're like but it was also, the kind of radio that we did. I mean, we weren't the vulgar show, but it was sexually charged. A lot of content was sexually charged. So, it was dangerous. So, okay. So that brings up an interesting point that you just, let me give you another first date story. Okay. Here's a first date story. You tell me what you think of this. What would you think if this happened? So, you just by happenstance run into some friends of some friends while out of town, and they invite you to dinner, and you go to dinner with them. Right now, this isn't you married. This is you as a single guy.
Okay.
And they invite you to dinner, and the friend of a friend is a girl, and she's with two of her girlfriends. They're all attractive, and they're out of town. You know how girls staying in hotel rooms are on girls' weekends. They are knocking them back, and they are having a good time. And so the friend says to you, the one you don't know the girlfriend. You know this one. She says to you, "Hey, are you interested in Becky over there?" And you're like, "Yeah, she seems like really nice." And then the friend shows you a text from Becky that says, "I totally want to get with that tonight." Right? Okay, so now you're thinking. And now remember, for this conversation, Becky's very attractive. Becky, you
All
are.
right. So did I get there in a unicorn? Because
Well,
this is fantasy stuff. Okay.
so Becky and the friend go to the bathroom, and the friend says to Becky, "Hey, by the way, you know that text you sent me? I showed it to James." "Oh my God, I can't believe you showed it to James. I'm humiliated. Why would you do that? That's hard." So, well, he said that he'd be okay with that. Okay. So then you leave the restaurant, you pay the bill, you go out to a bar, and you're having fun. You're starting. You did first 15 minutes or so that you're in the bar. Everybody's getting their first round of drinks, and Becky walks up to you and she drops some Molly in her drink, and she gives it to you, and she says, "I want to drink this with you," and you drink it. Right. And then you go home, and then you, like, within minutes after that, you're like, let's get out of here, because now you know the mood. You've seen the text, and she's, dropping Molly in your drink. You're like, okay, we're not going to hang out at this bar anymore. Let's go back to the hotel. And you spend, the night, this girl you just met a couple of hours earlier, she's dropping drugs in your drink. She's texting her friend that she wants to take you home tonight and all that kind of stuff. What do you think of that girl? What do you think of that girl in the morning when you leave? What is your impression of that girl?
This could be like a nasty skank who I need to run away from with my hair on fire, or it could be marriage material. I have no idea.
Why do you say marriage material? Are you just trying to be funny? Because nothing about this story so far tells me that I want this woman to produce a daughter with me. There is nothing in this behavior that tells me these are genetics that I think would not go well with creating the next leader of the free world.
Look, everything's context is crucial. If this is what she does once a month, hell no. But if she's done this,
how would you know? Because you would ask her, and just like everyone else, they go, "I've never done this before." It's like that's
right. But can
go with that because it's convenient. Because it's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with that.
Well, look, I've had some pretty wild starts to a couple of relationships. So, like, me and the wife had a pretty fun start to our relationship. It wasn't that awesome, but
hold on, I want to hear that story. But let me cap this story off. That is how Allison Brie met Dave Franco, her husband of the last 10 years.
Oh, good. Do I know Allison Brie?
What do you mean you don't know Allison Brie? She's like my favorite actress. Glow. You ever watch Glow? She's you ever see Community? Have you ever seen? Oh, are you kidding me? Allison Brie. This is Dave Franco is, of course, James Franco's little brother, but this is
I didn't know that either.
Oh my goodness. All right, pull her up.
Hang on, let me look at you made me look at Allison Brie the other day. Yeah. Okay, so she is beautiful. Got it.
Didn't I already tell you this? But it's not only that she's beautiful, but she is an actress who is known for playing the good girl. The girl who is, virginal and all this guys. And then suddenly she reveals herself. So I thought that was an interesting way that a couple who ended up getting married, just as a topper to your Jesse Waters story. Both couples met in very, well, I mean, it's probably not how your grandma and grandpa met. Very, sort of wild ways, shall we say. And yet, they are one of the happiest married couples in Hollywood. The Franco Brees. They seem to be incredibly happy. I can't speak for Jesse Waters and his wife. So how did you and your wife meet?
Me and my wife met at a mutual friend's birthday party. And like the first night wasn't that wild, although we did drink quite a bit, and there was some weed on a patio, and we really just hung out and chatted that first night. But it was pretty soon after that we had a lot of like little wild adventures, just one after another, where God knows. Not the first night. No. The first night was on like a Thursday.
Okay.
So I had to work the next day. Yeah. So I was kind of tapping the brakes. In fact, I was really pissed because our mutual friend Casey, she's actually a pretty attractive girl herself, but kind of friend zoned. And I already knew she was crazy, and she already knew I was crazy. And so, she was telling me to come over to her house because some of her college friends are going to be over, and I would like to meet some of them because they're hot. And so I went over there, and I got Casey in the kitchen. I was like, "You son of a bitch! This is a Thursday. I work on a morning show. I have to be up. I have to be at work by 5:30, and there's only one hot chick here. There's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was my wife. It
Yeah.
ended up being my wife. So
Uh-huh.
it kind of worked out in my favor. There was only one hot chick there, so I couldn't screw it up and go, be interested in the wrong one. But we were both in a very wild phase of our life. I was single and 29 years old, and I just moved to New Orleans, and I didn't have any friends there, and I didn't have any relationships or girlfriend, or I was living with a lesbian couple, and so things.
You had quite the personal life going. She arrived just at the proper time.
Right, and I was going a little buck wild because for the previous year, I'd been living in Woodward, Oklahoma, where there's just not much of a social life or variety or spice to go around. And I am in New Orleans, a town I'd never lived in before, and they have the Frenchman Street, and they have the French Quarter, and they got Bourbon Street, and they've got the Warehouse District, and they got St. Charles, and they've got Magazine, and they've got concerts and comedy clubs and clubs that last all night, and casinos and bars that are open 24 hours a day, so you can walk out and it's sunlight again because it's 6:30 in the morning. And so I was doing all that. I was going hard when I met the wife, and she was going hard too because she had left New Orleans after Katrina, just picked up a job in California and worked it for about a year or so, and then had just come back.
Here, I know that you looked at the picture of the story that I just told, but I think it's important for the room to be able to see Allison Brie and Dave Franco, just to get the idea that we are talking about two magnificently attractive people who I just assume that when you're this attractive, either male or female, every woman you meet is potentially your wife, right? I mean, look at this. This is look. First of all, look at him. No. I'm going to be I'm a heterosexual man, but I can look at this guy and I can go, yeah, I can totally see why she would text her friend. I would get with that. And I can totally see why when told that, he would look at her and go, yeah, I would too. It's just that's for the chat room, just in case, because James looked it up on his own end, just so you know the genetic level of human that we are talking about hooking up after just one night. So one of the reasons I really regret not being handsome. It would be so much easier. It would be so much.
It's such a shortcut to so many things.
It really is. It really is. I mean, look, I got the charming thing down. That's fine. I can work that. But that's heavy lifting. You gotta, if I want to get someone that I'm actually attracted to, I can't just, sit across a dinner table from them and have them.
Oh no! What? Yeah, because with the personality, if you were attractive on top of that, you're basically starting every game at third base.
Yeah. See, in my case, I gotta buy the Molly. I gotta introduce the Molly. She ain't walking up to me and saying, "Here, this is for you." I gotta convince her. There's a lot of work that goes into being this shape and complexion. All right. Yeah. Hey, you know what I want to talk to you a little bit about?
I do not.
The story that popped today. I was looking at it today. First of all, did you watch Johnny Depp on the stand at all?
I saw a bunch of really positive tweets about Johnny Depp on the stand, and I'm always suspicious about actors in situations like this because I feel like they are probably acting.
Well, we've got two actors here. We've got Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. And look, actors are just garbage people. They really are. I've said this over and over again. Actors, they're soulless. They're empty vessels. They like to be other people at every opportunity. So you never truly know who they are. And once you finally get into a relationship and I'm not talking about a romantic any kind of a business relationship, a friendship, you realize that, oh my God, this person really is just a blank piece of paper. It is.
Right.
Today, are they going to be the good guy, or tomorrow are they going to be? And actress women are really bad. I've mentioned this because I went to a school where it was just a whole bunch of actresses, and they're vain and they're just overly emotional about every little thing because everything is an opportunity for them to stretch their acting. It's like can't find a parking spot. They'll use that as an excuse to try and see if they can make themselves cry on demand. And then you, a normal person, you're going, why are you crying? And they're like, I just, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So, that's what we have. I think that's what we're seeing with Amber Heard. Amber Heard is a nut job. Okay. Johnny Depp, right? Court has already ruled. Johnny Depp's a nut job. We know Johnny Depp's a nut
But
job.
she is out nut jobbing Johnny Depp,
Without
from
a
what I
doubt.
understand.
Without a doubt. She.
So you've been watching some of this? You've been keeping up?
I watched about an hour and a half of it today because it was live streaming, and I got caught up in it, and I started to. Johnny Depp put on one hell of an acting performance today. And the reason that everybody was tuning in today was because Johnny Depp took the stand and there were cameras on it, and he was really acting. And, he was going in and out of a British accent. I don't know if you know this, but Johnny Depp is from Tennessee. He is not from England, yet he's doing that thing that Madonna did back in the 90s where all of a sudden she starts using a British sort of accent.
Well, he's been Jack Sparrow for like 8 movies, and I think that's been the bulk of his non-drunk experience, and so he's slipping into Jack Sparrow more so than the accent of just England in general. He's slipping into a specific character.
He went deep into the whole I'm going to try and explain to you all exactly where these compulsions of mine come from. And he went into this long story about my father was a beautiful man. He was a peaceful man, but he had a lot of rage inside of him, and he didn't exactly know how to vent that rage. Like he's going into like all this stuff. And then my mom, I'd see her alone in a darkened room, silhouetted by the cigarette smoke she held in her hand, and I'd walk into that room and she'd say, Johnny, bring me my nerve pills. And I would take those pills as a 10-year-old boy. I would take those pills and I would give them to my mother, and then I would take one for myself. And like he's trying to explain like why he's and it was give that man a trophy. Take it away from Will Smith, walking right up to Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's a piece of garbage. Johnny Depp's a drunk and a druggie and a wild man and an entitled actor. All of these things that we see depicted on, well, like you remember Entourage, like how every actor was a self-involved piece of garbage. That's what Johnny Depp is. But he gave a whale of a performance today, boy. I almost bought it, and I'm very cynical when it comes to these people. But I almost completely bought it. I'm like, oh. And then, I'm also aware of how Amber Heard was testifying and the shit that she did. Do you know what the baseline for this trial is right now? Why they're sitting in a courtroom?
Something to do with their divorce, and that's really all I know.
No, they got their divorce is done. They got their divorce. It was over years ago, and it was fine. And they both signed contracts with each other that said that they wouldn't talk about one another anymore, and that they wouldn't say, he would stop saying that she was abusive and insane, and that she had to stop saying that I was a drug addict and insane. Okay, so they deal it. They sign the deal. He gives her the money, which she says $7 million, which she says she's going to donate to charity, which she hasn't done. Okay, so whatever. That's not what she
okay.
All right. So that's the deal. So last year, after it's settled, they're both on their own. Right? They're going off, they're dating other people, whatever it is. They've moved on from each other. So last year, Amber Heard decides to sit down with the Washington Post and give a story about all the abuse that she took advantage of the Me Too movement and decided, I could get a big cover story in the Sunday Washington Post if I sit down and talk about all of the abuse that I've taken, even though she signed an agreement with Johnny. So she does this whole thing talking about her husband and how he did this and this. She never mentioned Johnny Depp's name, but everybody reading it knew who she was talking about. So Johnny Depp gets a copy of this and he's like, what the fuck? What is she doing? We had a date. Why is she doing? So that's what this case is about. Johnny Depp is suing her, and I think also the Washington Post, for putting this out there because Johnny and her had a deal. She totally she's a crazy actress. She doesn't care. Sign a piece of paper. She'd marry a rich guy. She doesn't care. You take all her money. She'll get more. She's beautiful. You know what I mean? Amber Heard.
You're right.
She'll be fine. What's her worst case scenario? She ends up... So she doesn't get to marry a CEO executive or Elon Musk, whom she dated, who Johnny thinks might be the father of their child.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So what's her worst case scenario? She ends up marrying Orange County's largest Chevy dealer. A guy with like 10 Chevy. Okay. hey, she's still going to have all the money in the world and she can live any way that she wants. It may not be, I mean, a person like that. So that's what this is about. This is about Johnny Depp going, hey, we had an agreement that you weren't going to talk. And she went out there and talked anyway because she's a crazy actress. And she's saying that basically she never said his name and all this kind of stuff. And then because of their back in court, all of the past abuses have been reintroduced. You know, even though they had an agreement, this is a whole new court case. Now she's saying, well, but my drama was this and blah, blah, blah. And she really made him out to look like a really bad guy. And so now he's on the stage going, and then when I moved out of Tennessee, I was a vagabond. I worked for the circus. You know, it's all very,
This guy
is so weird. He's such a weirdo. But I can see how she could be irritating. I mean, she's obviously okay, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. The story that was breaking this evening, I just wanted to lay the groundwork for another actor being an idiot. Did you see this latest story about Ezra Miller, most famous as the Flash? Do you know who Ezra Miller is?
I do not know Ezra Miller, no.
Okay, Ezra Miller is one of the hottest young actresses in Hollywood. He's in the DC universe. He's the Flash from the Justice League films. He's the Flash from Batman versus Superman. His own standalone Flash movie that is coming out on the 23rd of June. It's supposed to be a big summer release. You know, another one of these big superhero movies, The Flash. He's got another franchise. I mean, he's like in Harrison Ford land right now. He's Fantastic Beasts, you know, this Harry Potter spin-off. So he's the star of that. He plays like Dumbledore, something like young.
We're in Secrets of Dumbledore now, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And that's who he plays. He plays like I don't know, Ecobus Dumbledore. You know, like some version of a.
No, I don't know. I pee standing up.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. My kid's 12. My kid wants to watch Scorsese movies now. I'm long past that stuff. So he's a big star. Oh God. See, James, I've already done it wrong.
What did I do?
I need to say they are a big star. They are a big star.
He's a they.
They. No, actually, he prefers.
Wait, is he a she?
Here's one of the problems. They do not like being called they now. They want to be called Z. And to a lesser extent, it, which kills me because those are my preferred pronouns on my I just want to be called it. That's I like that one. Just refer to me as it. I can roll with that. All right, so here's the story with him. He's a weird they. You know, I'm gonna do it. Z is what he prefers. Z. Have you seen this? That's the new one, James. That's the new one we got to remind around.
It's not new. This has been floating around.
It's old English. It goes all the way back to the Middle Ages. I had to look it up. I had to look up Z. So he wants to be Z. Z-E. Z wants to be referred to as Z. Man, in my 50s, I'm trying.
No, here it is. Cut your junk off, and I'll call you whatever you want. Commit to the bid. But if you're just making me go through some performance theater, I'll do it while you're in the room. But when I'm talking to Pugs and these other fine people here, it's a dude. Okay.
I'm just trying to give you a little framework for who this guy is. Okay, he's and all kidding aside. Probably my second favorite character in the Justice League, his rendition of the Flash. He's hysterical. He's hysterical as the Flash. It's a great character. He doesn't quite know how to do his powers yet. You know, he's very funny. He's a very funny actor in all ways. Ezra Miller, James, has been arrested for second-degree assault in Hawaii. Now, why is this a big deal? Because this comes less than 3 weeks after the Flash and Fantastic Beasts star was arrested for disorderly conduct 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, we covered it on the noon show because it was trending. He's in a bar in Hawaii, and they're doing karaoke, and he gets upset, and he starts yelling at the karaoke people to stop singing because they're disturbing him. See, this is what I'm talking about, entitled actor. This is, they think. So he's in the karaoke bar, and he's mad that they won't just change the entire format of the bar because he's there, right? That's where his head is at. So he barges up on stage, he grabs the microphone, throws the microphone down, pushing, shoving, all this kind of stuff. Police come, he's in handcuffs, mugshot, trending the next day. All right, big deal. Obviously, hey, you can say whatever. He's a young man. He's got a lot of opinions and feeling his own power. Whatever, we could let's just hope this is not a new story. Young actors always behave like assholes.
Well, that's the exact same thing I feel like doing anytime I'm at karaoke and someone does Turn the Page. Like that is not a party song. You're going to ruin the mood. And it's like 4 minutes of this garbage selection. Yeah, I've wanted to do that before.
Then you would absolutely hate my version of Clapton's Tears in Heaven, because that is my
for a party song. These people, man,
that is my go-to.
They're trying to make me cry. Yeah.
All right, so that was happening 3 weeks ago. Miller was arrested early Tuesday morning after an incident at a private residence, also in Hawaii. So he's just wreaking havoc in Hawaii. Patrol officers responded to a report of an assault that occurred at a get-together in Leilani Estates subdivision in Lower Puna. According to the Hawaiian Police Department, Miller allegedly became irate after being asked to leave a party and threw a chair, striking a 26-year-old woman in the forehead and resulting in a half-inch cut. Police arrested Miller at 1:30 a.m. after the actor was located on the roadway during a traffic stop. Now, Miller's first arrest came on March 28th. Then the next night after his first arrest, he pulled a Robert Downey Jr. and accidentally barged into the wrong house, climbed into bed with the people who were living there. And the police had to be called again. Those people got a restraining order against him. And so there's that. So that's 2 nights in a row. Okay, 2 nights in a row. Sounds like he's got a bit of a drinking problem. And then this one just happened here. James, according to Hawaii's police assistant, Chief Kenneth Kyoko, Ezra Miller has been the source of 10 police calls in Hilo since March 7th. 10 times the police have had to be called because of this dude's behavior.
Okay, so I'm starting to feel sorry for this guy. This guy's clearly acting out and something's happened. He's a victim of trauma. You don't just naturally develop this through any other means for the most part. And this guy needs help. This isn't, he may not even be like inherently a bad person. He just is a dude going through an episode, or he's psychotic. And I don't mean psychotic like.
Wikipedia has an entire article for his legal issues. Is a 27 or 29. I've seen it both ways. In June of 2011 in Pittsburgh, while shooting The Peaks of Being a Wallflower, Miller was a passenger in a vehicle that was pulled over for a broken brake light. Police discovered 20 grams of marijuana in his possession. Okay. That's not troubling. That's whatever. That's, if that had happened a state over, it'd be legal. You know what I mean? It's like, let's not jump on him for that. On April 6, 2020, a video surfaced in a since-deleted tweet that appeared to show Miller choking a woman and throwing her hard to the ground. The video was confirmed by Variety to have taken place in Reykjavik, Iceland, in a trendy bar area in central Reykjavik that Miller frequents when in the city. I mean, fabulous city. Iceland, have you ever been?
I know you're a big fan, one of your favorite countries.
Simply must go. A bar employee identified the person in the video as Miller and said that they were escorted off the premises by staff after the incident. On January 27th, 2022, Miller posted a video to his Instagram that threatened members of the Ku Klux Klan for operating in North Carolina. The Southern Poverty Law Center reported no knowledge of recent Klan activity in the area, Miller said. On March 28th, Miller was arrested in Hawaii following an alleged physical confrontation with patrons at a karaoke bar. The next day, a couple filed a restraining order based on an incident that alleged to have occurred the very same day, but then that's the one where he went into the wrong place and he climbed into bed with some people. Okay. So,
right. We're back to modern times now. Okay.
On April 19th, 2022, Miller was arrested again in Hawaii for allegedly throwing a chair, which hit a 26-year-old woman. And that brings us up to, the weed thing, not a big deal. The beating up of a woman on the streets of Reykjavik, that's troubling.
Big deal. Yeah.
Big deal. Very troubling. The Ku Klux Klan thing, the false reports about Ku Klux Klan activity to police, that seems okay. He's obvious. There's something, you're right. There is something going on with him. There is you know what it sounds like is going on? It sounds like he's an alcoholic. It sounds like he's a 20-something alcoholic who has a whole lot of money because the DC universe.
Right. But the alcoholism isn't his root problem. The alcoholism is an outgrowth and a symptom of something else. And so I don't think he's a psychopath. I think he might be psychotic. There's an important distinction there. But this sounds like the classic victim of something traumatic that happened to him. It could be recently, it could be in his childhood, but he's trying to fill a hole in his soul with alcohol, just numb the pain and not have to deal with it in a sober mind. And he just can't handle his booze very well. Some people get away with this. Some people can just, have this little bottle inside and they can take all the turmoil and they can just cram it down and twist the knob on tight and it never explodes. And then there's some people that they can only hold it in for so long. It's handling your booze.
He is currently he's in a lot of trouble. He is in a lot of trouble because we are a month, maybe 6 weeks away. What is June the 23rd? Whatever. Oh, it's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. He is going to be expected to go around to every talk show and promote the hell out of The Flash. This is a big summer opening. This is a major budget film. And they were talking about after the first one, after the Croaky Bar incident, the people at DC were weighing the idea of, because see, there's two Flashes currently in existence. There is the movie star Flash, who is Ezra Miller, the guy we're talking about. And then there's a CW series, The Flash, which has another actor. And there is a very good chance that they might just reshoot that. This is what I was reading today, that it is possible now with technology that for this June 23rd open, they'll delay it a little bit, but they will can this dude from The Flash until he gets help. Because how do you trot this guy out on every talk show in America when he's going to be obviously asked about this run of insane things that he's going to do nothing but turn off the American public? Who's going to take their kids to see Flash when Flash is this degenerate? So imagine that you're the TV star, you're the CW Flash, and all of a sudden you're just waiting by the phone going, yeah, man, you can green screen my ass into every single one of his scenes. You can cut around him. So,
right. Because if you're the lead star of a show on the CW, you're probably not even making six figures,
No, you are. He's probably
you get like 90 grand and a lease on a Honda Civic or something.
Right. Comparatively. Yes, right. Compared to what the big movie star is making, who, when you are the Flash and they have there's a 3-picture deal. There are supposed to be 3 standalone Flash movies. We are talking about progressively more. Like if he's getting 10 million for the first one, he'll get 15 for the next. He'll get maybe 25 for the third. This is a massive life-changing. This is what every young actor in Hollywood wants, is a franchise. They want then they can go off in between the franchise and they can do their little stupid art pictures or whatever the hell they want to do to make
Punch Drunk Love, Walk on the Clouds.
Okay. Punch Drunk Love is a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. That's not some stupid little side film. That is a brilliant film.
It's not a comic book film, and it's a passion project, right. Is what it is. How about the Keanu Reeves walk-away movie, A Walk in the Clouds?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, you can do Matrix, and then you can do Speed, but then you're allowed to go do the smaller films that you feel are more fulfilling to you as an artist. That's the bag. That's the game. That's what actors have been doing for the past 30 years in Hollywood. This guy's blowing it. This young kid is absolutely blowing it. If he gets cut out, if they elevate the TV Flash into the role of the new Flash for the DC film universe, how do you come back from that? I don't know how you come back from that.
You don't. And now you have another reason to drink because you threw it all away. You had the whole world at your fingertips if you could only put down the booze, and you blew it. And look, I've done not so well at job interviews or auditions or whatever, but I didn't blow a multi-million-dollar movie franchise. Jesus.
And thank you that you just hit on why this is a big deal and not just another ne'er-do-well actor who's screwing up his career. This is a big deal because we are talking about the DC cinematic universe. We're not talking about a guy who just had a couple of movies that people went to see and they think, oh, he's good. He's going to be a big star someday. No, he is being given the opportunity to be the lead of a franchise in a superhero, universe, a DC. Now it's not Marvel, but so what? I mean, I just watched the new The Batman last night. Robert Pattinson jumped at that opportunity. Robert Pattinson was like, yeah, remember me, the Twilight guy? I ain't really been doing much. What? You want me to be Batman? Where do I sign? I'm the new Batman? It's like being asked to be the new James Bond. Now, granted, the Flash is the same as Batman, but for a guy who you didn't even know the name Ezra Miller. That's a big deal. Yeah. So here's his movies. We need to talk about Kevin. That was actually a really good movie, and I didn't know that he was in it. Perks of Being a Wallflower, very well reviewed. Don't know what it is. Trainwreck. Wasn't that the Trainwreck?
Did I see Trainwreck?
Yeah, it's the Amy Schumer and Bill Hader, right?
Oh, I didn't see that, but I remember the commercials looked really good.
Yeah. It's a Judd Apatow film. Okay, so he was in Trainwreck, then he was in Batman versus Superman, then Suicide Squad, then Fantastic Beasts, then Justice League, then Fantastic Beasts 2, then Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, he is screwing. He's doing the Harrison Ford thing where Harrison Ford had Han Solo and Indiana Jones going at the same time.
Right. Pretty amazing. And then he could throw in The Witness, in between those.
Yeah. I mean, I like the DC one. I don't know about Fantastic Beasts and all that, but I know that being a part of the Harry Potter movie universe is a big deal.
Yeah, huge deal, because it's not just high profile, but every one of those is guaranteed to pull in 9 figures or something, and they're going to make infinity of them.
Yeah, and it's also the reason I heard an actor once talking, and I don't remember who the actor was, so I can't give him credit, but they were talking about why they did the Harry Potter movie. Is it one of the stars of like the original Harry Potter movies? They said, I don't do it for me. I do it because I am guaranteed now that when an 8-year-old sees this movie and falls in love with it, that 8-year-old is going to know who I am for the next 50 years of his life. It's like me and Mark Hamill. I know who Mark Hamill, I know who Carrie Fisher are because of Star Wars. It's not like they went on and won a whole bunch of Oscars for other things after that, but they were able to penetrate and create that sentimental attachment with a young audience that made him stars for me forever, and that's what he's blowing. That's what this little idiot is blowing. All right, James, I got nothing else. Do you got anything else?
Bro, it's 10 o'clock. We'll do it tomorrow.
It is. We'll do it tomorrow. Thank you so much. James Parker joins us every night for Pugs Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. There he goes. Look at him. Again, I apologize for today's missing of the High Noon show. Had things to do. I won't miss any more shows. Or so I say. It's looking good. It's looking good. I miss doing it. I miss doing the High Noon show every day at noon. I come here and I sit behind this microphone and I tell you everything that's happening in the world. Trending topics, all that stuff. I guarantee you, Ezra Miller will be trending tomorrow. So, maybe I'll have new thoughts. Probably not. Can I just tell you how difficult that whole thing is? Like, see, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again because he plays the Flash, and the Flash is a guy. And I got nothing to they, whatever. I don't know. Hold on, we talking about The Batman, now available on HBO Max. Jeff says, yeah, but the glittery vampire is far from the best Batman. Yeah, well, that's a high bar. The best Batman, Jeffrey Ballard says. The best Batman. He was a good Batman. I thought Robert Pattinson as the Batman was a good. I honestly though, I don't think I've ever seen a Batman movie and gone, that Batman sucked. I really don't think I have. I know that there are some that when you weigh their performances against other Batmen, they don't like Christian Bale. Christian Bale's incredible as Batman, but so was Val Kilmer. I mean, it's like, so was Michael Keaton. I'm Batman. I mean, that was the original. Adam West, the original. Adam West was a fun kind of Batman, but I won't continue. I won't muck up this conversation with the insertion of Adam West's 1960 television Batman. Val Kilmer was great. Who else? George. I guess George. Would it be safe to say Clooney is like the worst Batman? Is that West? Who's West? Oh, Adam West. Oh, it's like Kanye West is Batman. I'd watch that. Yeah, I can't include West. Keaton and Kilmer, I think. But man. Wait, is it Christian Bale or Jude Law? It's Christian Bale, right? I always get Christian Bale and Jude Law conflated, confused. It's whatever, the English guy. Kilmer, I really like Kilmer's Batman. I don't know. Bale. It's definitely Bale. Yeah, Bale is good. Clooney has to be the lowest ranked. I have no problem with Affleck's Batman. None whatsoever. I know that it's popular to hate on Ben Affleck, but his Batman, I have no problem. And I have no problem with Pattinson's Batman. This movie was a little bit different than all the other Batman movies. He was more mortal, he was more, if you haven't seen the new The Batman, I'm just repeating now what they say. It's more of a detective story, this one. This is Batman the detective. It's a little bit grimier, it's more violent than the other Batmans. Well, maybe not the Dark Knights. Although the Dark Knights were very fantastic, with Bane and all that stuff, that was still very superhero-y. And then, of course, when you had like Jack Nicholson as the Joker, that was very cartoony. This one is just more grimy. This one is more gritty, almost like the Joker. Remember the Joker movie from a few years ago? How that was just really sort of set in more realistic type times. That's what this one is. This one seems more like he rides a motorcycle. His bat cave doesn't look like NASA designed it. It looks like, it's kind of funky and it's kind of dank and it's, looks more like a cave. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's long. People say that movie's so long. It is. It's long, but it's still good. I enjoyed it. The Batman. Robert Pattinson, not bad. Never seen him in anything else. I never saw any of those Twilight movies. So I don't have any preconceived notions about him. I was like, okay, I like him. He's fine. He's good. He's dark. Jeff says, just watch Joaquin's Joker movie. It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was definitely good. All right. That's going to do it. Again, if you want to support the show, any of the two shows that we do, the noon show and this one, please do. Those options are right there on the bottom of the screen. Your tips are appreciated. And other than that, you guys have a great night. And we will hopefully all gather back. Well, I will. I know I will. Will you? That's a question for yourself. When you look yourself in the mirror, you've got to ask yourself that question. Will I be joining the High Noon Show tomorrow at noon? I hope the answer is yes. If so, see you then. If not, try and make it the next day. I'm easy. All right. Have a great one. Again, support the show. Love you. Be well. Talk tomorrow. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.